Following the attack by Hamas on Israel, U.S. lawmakers from both parties are pressuring President Biden to punish one of the terror group's financial backers, Iran. The administration announced that it is temporarily freezing more than $6 billion in Iranian assets that has been released as part of a recent hostage swap. However, some lawmakers think that does not go far enough. Capitol Hill correspondent Erik Rosales explains. Erik?
Good evening, Tracy. You know, last weekend's violence by Iranian-allied Hamas is fueling new calls for the U.S. to choke off billions in revenue from the regime, including its oil exports. Lawmakers tell me that the Biden administration continues to make Tehran richer at the expense of oil production and allowing them to sell their petroleum to our adversaries.
Well, Iran is selling $1 billion worth of oil every week to China. Under Joe Biden, Iran's coffers have grown from $6 billion to $60 billion.
The Biden administration has allowed Iran to re-enter world commerce with its oil and build up tens of billions of dollars in foreign currency reserves that it's now using to deliver this mayhem in Israel today, but around the world soon.
Florida Congressman Mike Waltz tells me he supports sanctioning Iran oil sales and canceling a $7 billion line of credit from the International Monetary Fund.
All of those things shut off the funding, and you will then starve these terrorist groups of resources because they are 100% funded, trained, resourced, and supported and controlled by the Iranian regime.
Senator Kevin Cramer tells me one of the ways to do that is to get the G7 nations to coordinate their response.
Imagine if all of them collectively were putting primary and secondary sanctions on not on Iran and then anybody that does business with Iran. You could have immediate major impact. That takes big leadership, and we're lacking leadership right now in this country.
Others agree.
We have to reestablish deterrence against the Iranian regime that not only directly threatens America's interests in a peaceful and stable Middle East, but also bears the blood of hundreds of Americans and plots to kill even more.
Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, who is vying for the GOP presidential nomination, is pushing legislation to reauthorize the Iran sanctions of 1996, which are set to expire in 3 years. Now, this would allow the president to impose sanctions on Iran that restrains the regime's ability to fund operations that could endanger U.S. military forces. Tracy?
Well, Erik, over on the House side, what's the latest on Republican attempts to elect a speaker?
Oh, that is a whole nother issue. Well, after more than 2 weeks, Republicans are still looking for someone who can get 217 votes. That's what they hope Congressman Jim Jordan was able to get, but he failed for a second time. He didn't get enough votes. He actually lost ground today. 22 Republicans voted against him compared to 20 yesterday. Congressman Jordan said that no other votes will take place today. Meanwhile, calls are increasing to expand the powers of Speaker Pro Tem Congressman Patrick McHenry so that he can actually start passing bills in the House. Now, that's going to mean Democrats will have to provide some support. Tracy?
Okay, thank you, Erik.